Abraham Verghese has a calling as a physician. He also has a passion to write, and many have labeled his latest book a masterpiece. Tracy Smith reads the fine print.
Dr. Abraham Verghese is Vice Chair of Education at the Stanford University School of Medicine. He's actually an expert in bedside manner, teaching medical students about the importance of the human touch. Dr. Verghese is all about the power of connection, here and in his other calling.
A good story goes beyond what a forgiving God cares to do. It reconciles families and unburdens them of secrets whose bond is stronger than blood. But in their revealing, as in their keeping, secrets can tear a family apart.
These words are from the best-selling book, The Covenant of Water, and they're as lush and vibrant as the world they describe.
The book is set between 1900 and 1970 in Kerala, which is a coastal territory in India, full of lakes, waterways, lagoons, backwaters. And in every generation in this particular family I focus on, one or more members drowns.
The drownings are just one of the mysteries in this family's story of a beloved matriarch, decades of enduring love, and tragic deaths that were sometimes excruciating for him to write about.
Did it have you in tears? Because I cried reading it. Did you cry writing it?
Well, every time I came to revise certain scenes, no matter how many times I'd done it, it was tough. It was, losing somebody.
The Covenant of Water is a difficult book to describe in a few words. It's even tougher to sum up the life of the author. Abraham Verghese was born in Ethiopia to Indian parents. His mother was a teacher who taught her boys early on the value of education. Brother George, on the right, is now a professor at MIT. After medical school, Dr. Verghese took a residency in Johnson City, Tennessee in the 80s, where he found a growing number of people with HIV, which at that point in time was fatal. The experience made him want to tell the world about what he saw and the people he met.
A lot of their messages were, don't postpone your dreams. Life's too short to postpone the things you want to do this one day this might transpire. And so all those things kind of came together at that moment. And I was going to write this book.
You had to write this book.
I had to write the book.
So, in the winter of 1990, he put his medical practice on hold, cashed in his retirement, and moved his young family to the University of Iowa and their acclaimed writing program.
But I tell you, if you do that, it makes you take yourself seriously as a writer. So I could no longer say, I'm dabbling in this stuff. I mean, I was all in.
Yeah, you committed.
I was.
The resulting book, My Own Country, was a sensation. A subsequent novel, 2009's Cutting for Stone, spent 2 years on the New York Times bestseller list. But his second novel, The Covenant of Water, was closest to his heart. It was inspired by and dedicated to his mother, Mariama, who died in 2016.
Yeah, the inspiration was very much my mom and the strong women around my mother, such as her mother-in-law and her mother. These were sort of heroic women who lived quiet lives. The world would never know about their heroism. The world would never know how much tragedy they went through.
Their story spans 3 generations, and there's a lot to keep track of, so he used these whiteboards to keep it all straight.
How does this help you form the story?
I think it was really not helpful in the way people imagine, where it was like a architectural plan. I think this was me sort of beginning to see the characters, to visualize them for myself.
And after 10 years, he finally got The Covenant of Water published, and then a form of literary lightning struck.
Welcome to all the book club members who are watching us on Oprah Daily. I am thrilled for this conversation.
Oprah called you to give you a heads up that she was choosing your book.
I hear this beautiful, resonant voice, melodious voice, saying, "Hi, this is Oprah." And I stood up because I have the most tremendous respect for her.
You stood up.
I stood up. I mean, I don't know of anybody else in our culture that has brought more readers to books.
This beachgoer said she had the Covenant Water on her TBR list. Well, I made it easier for her and gave her a copy.
Not only did Oprah choose his book, she physically handed out copies of it, and she plans to make it into a movie. And Oprah's not the only big fan. It was on former President Obama's list of favorite books from 2023.
I've been incredibly lucky, I must say. I don't know that I can point to it being all my skills, certainly not. You need a lot of luck when you produce a book.
What do you think your mother would make of all of this?
I think my mother would be delighted. Our parents are not particularly demonstrative in the things that they say in terms of praise, but I think she would have been very pleased.
And if writing is Abraham Verghese opening his heart to the world has answered in kind.
It's lovely to meet you. I love your work.
The book stayed on the New York Times bestsellers list for 37 weeks. The story, inspired by his mother, has taken on a life of its own, something even the esteemed doctor finds hard to explain.
It's amazing. It's a bestseller in Italy, South Africa. You know, when I hear these things, I don't know what to say. You know, when I get these pieces of good news coming to me, for example, you know, CBS Sunday Morning is going to be talking to you. It feels beyond me.
What do you mean?
Well, it's just, I did something, but I didn't do the whole thing.
It's bigger than you.
It's bigger than me.